Welcome to Bodybuilding Unplugged,
the new podcast keeping you up to date and behind the scenes for the competitive season and beyond.
with your hosts, director and head coach of Team Poser with Hannah and competitive natural bodybuilder, Hannah Mitchell.
And DFAC Pro and multi-time British figure champion, Zena Al-Kalabi.
Tune in and let us know what you think. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode 7 of Bodybuilding Unplugged. So we're here today to speak about BNBF finals, which was absolutely mind-blowing. My favourite show to date. Mate.
Yeah, 100%. It was such an amazing finals. And I know every episode, I just feel like we're repeating ourselves, but the standard is just gets better literally every show.
Yeah, but that's what's so amazing though, isn't it? I think with obviously being the first finals, that is going to be quite different, isn't it? It's a different level, it's a different caliber. Everyone is bringing their final look pretty much. I know a lot of people that was actually their last show, even though the season is obviously going for another about a month, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It was people's like last show, like final, so they really put the work in to make that difference between the regional, and it bloody showed. Like, I was so inspired.
Honestly, it was such a good show. And it was such like a good day as well. Like everything ran smoothly. Like
I was gonna say,
was like to time.
Good, nice. I was gonna say, like, how did you feel the day in itself? Like, as a judge, as like a person in the audience, how did you feel? Like, how was the audience? Because with some natty shows, I feel like sometimes it's like one or the other, where it's either like absolutely dead, or everyone stays until the end and everyone's so loud and fucking rowdy, but in a great way. How was that?
Yeah, no, like I've always said this about BNBF. Like one thing I do just genuinely love is like they run so smoothly, and I think everyone will say the same. Like the timings are also accurate. Like everything is always run as planned. It finishes at a really reasonable time. And yeah, I mean, because it's a split show, obviously there was audience there the majority of the day. Naturally, as people kind of finish their finals in the evening, the audience starts to filter out because not everyone is going to kind of stay. But I think the benefit of this British finals was the pro show right at the end, so that kind of almost kept more people there to want to actually watch the pro show, because it's not very often you get the opportunity to kind of stay on at a show and see the pro. So I mean, there was still kind of a good audience. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't full Leatherhead, but like it was loud, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah, that's it. Where is Leatherhead?
It's like towards Surrey way.
Oh, okay.
Nice. South of London.
Yeah.
On the map.
It's down. Because it's always hosted there, isn't it?
It's down.
Yeah. Because I actually
it's actually not.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not. Then the British finals actually, it's normally in the Midlands somewhere, but I think this year they had to put it there because of like venues and things like that. But they always have a show there.
Yeah, I remember always seeing it on their poster anyway. So the finals in itself, and like you said, the pros as well. I'm not hating on any assistants, obviously, but oh my God, those pro physiques put so many assisted people to shame. Like, that was incredible. And like, they weren't that old either. When a lot of pro lineups, they can be, like 40 years old or like late 30s, and it makes sense because they've had 20 years in the game, blah 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 blah. But this was a young pro lineup.
It was, and yeah, I mean, there was only 5 of them, but like the standard was amazing. So 6 of them actually, but yeah, the standard was like absolutely amazing, and it was so cool to see, and just like so cool to see it, in person as well.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, without further ado, let's dive straight into it. The first category was over 80s, you say?
Yeah, so we don't actually have pictures for the over 80s guys. But first was Ted Clifton, second Michael Harradence. So obviously I was there, I was judging. Now I
Mhm.
think with these two, it definitely could have gone like either way. They were both
Okay.
kind of very similar in what they presented, but Ted did just kind of nip it on the day, and I think over 80s, like creds to you, like absolutely amazing, and to be doing that and still, you can just see how much they enjoy it, and it's just obviously such a special day for them. But yeah, just absolutely amazing for both of them to be on that stage, to be honest.
Love that. That is so, so cool. Okay, and then the first image that we do have is the over 70s here. So um Z has actually got the program, which is pretty fantastic. So, oh, actually, before we do continue to dive in, we did have a few requests for which we're going to go into as we kind of go through the categories. So we had requests for reviews, which is a new feature on the podcast. So make sure that if you want to be reviewed as a completely subjective athlete, even if we do know you, we'll kind of like speak about you as if we don't, if that makes sense, as Z would do with me and as I would do with her. We're not here to kind of be like, oh my God, everyone's great. We're here to give constructive
Everyone's
feedback
amazing.
because because that's what bodybuilding is. We want to do better, we want to be better. So that is a new feature, and very excited at the fact that we had a lot of submissions with that. So if we don't go through you within maybe like the top 3, we'll make sure that we do actually mention you separately, or top placings anyways. And then the other feature that we have started as well was the which physique stood out to you kind of the most, which we might kind of run through at the end. I think that'll be a nice little tie up. But yeah, make sure that every week
Yeah.
you see those boxes, you get those submissions in, and that'll be amazing. So yes, back into the stars of the show. We've got over 70s here.
Yeah, so in first place we have Steve Robbins, second Milliam McCormick, and third David Bryce. What are your thoughts, Hannah?
I recognise second place a lot. I feel like I've seen him quite a lot.
Yeah,
Um, like
he's
amazing
definitely the
guys, man.
qualifiers.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, like my granddad's like 80s, and he could never. Do you know what I mean? Like he's one of these people that
Yeah,
he wouldn't even like walk up the stairs if he didn't have to, kind of vibe. So the fact that they put
yeah,
in that amount of effort and work to bring in some form of condition here, like fair play, obviously
I know.
first place.
And the winner, so
Yeah,
much muscle.
so much
like,
muscle, like
yeah,
absolutely amazing. I do think that it just shows that he's really put in the work in over the years, and I think it's evident why he
yeah,
did place
sure.
first, because of that level of tissue
Yeah.
that he does have.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, it's like, it's just that amount of muscle, still at that age. And I think, the other two guys, like, whilst they're probably more conditioned in some areas, I think, he just had it all really. The only
Yeah,
thing is the tan. It was a really bad tan,
yeah, he looks grey.
but that's okay.
That might be,
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It didn't,
yeah. I think we've got a bit of a lag, to be
you
honest, on the.
Yeah, I know you keep freezing and then I miss bits, but I don't know whether it's mine or yours, so I'll just smile.
I think you're fine on mine, but it
Right.
seems like a lag. It's really weird, but we'll keep going. Yeah, I don't know if when you think about it, like skin prep.
Mm.
I think it's probably just down to that.
Yeah, especially you don't really know like if they've got like help or things like that for like other people to tan them, or whether or not they just kind of like popped it on themselves. But
Yeah,
nevertheless, still a very very worthy winner.
yeah, for
But yeah, I
sure.
mean, creds to the second and third place as well.
No, really, really great lineup. I've already messed up the thing. I'm coming back. Wait. Right. Boom, boom, boom.
Well, if I was doing it, it'd be 10 times worse.
Okay, now we've got over 60s, which I can't get over that these are over 60. This is mind blowing to
It's
me.
honestly when these guys walked out on stage, I think we all just kind of were like, "What the fuck?" Like, wow. And taking just the top four. First was Paul, second John, third Jim, and fourth Mick Shaw. But like, if you almost like take first place out of it, the other three could all be British champions like on a different day
Yeah.
already. But then this guy Paul in first place, like, what
What?
the fuck?
What? I'm sorry, but
Absolutely insane.
his shape and structure like really reminds me, and Keith's probably gonna hate me for saying this, but it really reminds me of Keith. Like if you just cover his
He is
head,
just so like,
poof.
yeah, like do you know what? Like so much width as well, like really wide clavicles. Like he's got tissue. He looks young. Like he does not look over 60. So, very standout winner. And if he is gonna take up the invite, I think he probably could win worlds. To be honest.
Yeah, I would say so. Like again, I have never ever seen in however many years of watching shows, coming up to like what 9 years now. I've never seen anyone of over 60 in that kind of shape. Like really great, and you can
Yeah,
see
no,
even
me
like
neither.
how he's presenting. I think a lot of the time, sometimes with older athletes, that their presentation can kind of let them down at times, because I guess it's an additional task. If you're
Yeah,
not someone that's been in bodybuilding since you were young, then it's an additional task that you've got to do as well as everything else. But his posing, even in these two
yeah.
shots, are real standout.
Yeah, honestly, he was absolutely phenomenal. And then, yeah, I mean, like we've already said, second, third, fourth, absolutely incredible over 60s. And I think they
Yes.
all could kind of win on a different day, but they just
Mhm.
were unfortunate that they were probably in the most stacked over 60s lineup there ever was.
That's it. No, I'm really, really like yeah, I've said it, but mind blown about that lineup. Like even going into over 50s now, even flicking between the two, I don't know, I think over 60s pips it.
Mm. Yeah, I do think, I actually saw this quite a lot, like in the sense that the category you would maybe expect to be more competitive wasn't, and it was similar with juniors and teens. I actually kind of will go on to it, but the junior lineup was like, or it was like, you'll see what I mean by the pictures, but I do think the over 60s was more competitive than the over 50s.
Yeah, like
But
if you
still
put them
great
together,
physique. So go on.
I was just gonna say, like, if you did put them together, like in one lineup of just all over 50s, I reckon the over 60s will probably place higher. But
Yeah, for sure, for
regardless,
sure.
it's still a very
So
good show.
first is yeah, like these are still, and I think in this category you can kind of see a bit more condition coming through,
Yeah,
especially in like the winner and second place, which well, even third, like those delts like look great. But
yeah.
Dean Wilson first, Howard Pearson second, and Barry McCauley third.
Still very, very
Yeah,
good physiques,
great.
aren't they? Like, wow, like full, like extremely balanced as well, which is really good to see.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like mad top heavy, but yeah. And first and second, there can't have been much in that. Just condition, right?
No, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, probably it's really difficult on this picture because obviously we're only seeing half the picture, but I imagine it was probably very close or even split because I think second is also very good, and but yeah, first a little bit more conditioned. Potentially he was better than back. I can't really remember, but
Mm.
yeah, two great athletes.
Yeah, love that. Love to see it. Okay, so
Love
going
that.
into Masters over 40s. What? Oh my
I know.
god! Who's
So
first? Who
this
is
one
that?
was that was Ethan's standout of the show. I know. He I think Ethan said he won Masters last year as well, I want to say. So first place Christian Gastella, second Anthony, third Edison, but yeah, absolutely insane. So these guys are over 40 and yeah, wow.
See, even here, looking at fifth place, look at fifth, like look at those legs.
I know.
Wow.
It absolutely outstanding, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know third place in this picture, actually, you can't see him very well, but he was also very good. Second, you can see how good he is in that shot. I think it perfectly shows him. But I think Christian just has everything, you know? He has
Mm.
an amazing shape, he has condition to match, and he has muscle. So for a Masters
And
competitor, yeah, very, very good.
And obviously the difference within this category, like any kind of age related category, they don't have heights and weights and things. So, he is
Yeah,
significantly shorter than second place. So I definitely think that comes into play there, as to why he
yeah,
just
for
maybe
sure.
picked the post.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
wow.
He was,
So
yeah,
he then
so
took
he
the pro.
Yeah, so overall master, and he's got masters DFAT pro card, and he actually then did the pro show, which was really cool to see. But yeah, very well deserved, and hopefully he'll go and compete at Worlds as well. But yeah, really, really cool.
Sorry, did you say this is Christian?
Yeah,
So this is, yeah, so obviously we did mention about that new feature, and I know I said that we'd do it maybe at the end, but I think it might even be good if we do like if it rings any bells to kind of like mention that this is
yeah,
someone that somebody submitted saying how much of a standout that it was for them, and God, yeah, worth it. Look at that little trophy as well. Oh my god, that's really cute. Sorry, little girly moment there, but look at that
I love
trophy.
that trophy.
That is so
I know it's
cool.
such a sick trophy. I want one of those.
Imagine if the
So
overall
sick.
overall Masters winner was like a little Zimmer frame.
Stop.
No. No, but in a jokey way,
Best
like I think
bit,
that's
best
actually
bit for
smart.
next year.
Yeah. Okay, into our
Such a
first
movie.
ladies category now. Very exciting. We've got Masters
Yeah.
figure. Wow. So who do we have
Wow.
here?
So first was Tracy Hogg, second Victoria Beadsworth, and third Zoe McCurdy, and then fourth was Bronwyn James. There was just four in this category,
Amazing. So, I
and
mean,
Victoria was actually. This
go on,
lag
sorry.
is really annoying.
I just
How
keep
do we
pausing.
stop it?
Um,
I don't
how,
know. I don't know
how's your,
how
how's your,
because
how's your internet?
mine's full and you're blurry on my screen.
Mine's
I don't
like
know why.
you're fine. You're fine on my side.
I don't know why that's happening. Oh
Hmm.
well.
Well, yeah, we've got this. We can push through.
We'll just allow the lag. But yeah, Victoria was also someone that just wanted feedback as well, so the second place.
Second. Okay, amazing. Well, should we go through from fourth upwards?
Yeah, let's do it. Do you want to
So
start or do
Bronwyn.
you want me to start?
Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Bronwen, we've got in fourth. Beautiful like presentation. Obviously, this is her first season as well. She did the Southern, I want to say. She definitely bought a little bit of a tighter package, but still with a great amount of pop and kind of flow to that physique. Really, really great. Obviously, she's one of my clients, but not in I'm not taking anything away from her overall presentation. She massively improved, and I think that was more down to her confidence as well. So that was really, really great to see. So third place,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts?
So yeah, so I actually thought Zoe in third and Bronwyn in fourth were very similar physiques in
Mm.
what they kind of presented. Now, I do think, Bronwyn, you can tell, she's not as confident, which unfortunately I think that's probably what pipped Zoe over Bronwyn because I think, in some areas Bronwyn definitely won some shots, in other areas
Mhm.
Zoe did, but Zoe was very confident on stage, and
Yeah.
it did kind of almost help her show off her physique more. And
Yes.
I think she has a lovely shape, but what kind of separated first and second was just that really kind of like harder look and more condition and more muscle
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, I do think kind of first and second were very close, and then third and fourth were very close.
Yes, yeah, I can see that for sure. Like you say, they are almost, if you cover a pair of them, you can see their similarities, and then cover the other pair, you can see those similarities. So moving into
Mm-hmm.
second place, then, definitely beautiful like shape there. You can really see the
Yeah,
balance that she does have between that upper and lower, and those delt caps as well, man. To get them that lean,
yeah.
that's got a lot of tissue, you know?
Yeah. So, just a bit of background for you, Hannah. I don't know if you remember, but first and second were actually at the same qualifier, I believe, and they came the
Mm.
other way around. So Victoria was in first place, Tracy was in second. And honestly, like, obviously, I was judging this show, and I'm not going to kind of go into judging panel things, but for me, actually, I think it was very close. Now, my struggle here is Tracy in first place from the front is, absolutely incredible. I think she has so much muscle, so well conditioned. But from the back, I do think, Victoria is leaped ahead. So it was kind of,
Mm.
for me, Victoria was more of a complete package. And I do
Yes.
think, kind of as a whole, I would, probably pick Victoria myself first. But
Mm.
it's really difficult when, you've got kind of apples and oranges, it's another situation. And on another
Yeah.
day, I do think they would be another in the other way around. So yeah,
Well,
it was very close.
as we even saw on the kind of roundtable feedback as well, like it is also the eye walk is so important, and that can determine things. So, if first place did kind of choose the
Yeah.
shots that really worked for her, stayed pretty much facing the front, like the primarily like within that routine, then those are the shots that are going to stand out. So,
Yeah.
when we think about the back, I know people love the saying like shows are won from the back. That's definitely not the case, but it can be like a decider for sure. But
Mm,
I do think that,
yeah.
that's one out of four potential shots. Like, if anything, even less than when you've got more shots to choose from. So sometimes that is going
Yeah.
to be the case. But I can kind of see that even this shot that she's doing in first here, like at the
Mm,
on her own, when I do pop
yeah.
that next to her doing a front lat spread in second place, like the condition there is definitely different. She has got better conditioning through that lower, and although she might not
Yeah.
have the same amount of like balance, I do think that that would probably be the reason, in my opinion, of as to why some would
Yeah.
choose
No,
her over,
yeah.
especially because of seeing the level of condition that was chosen throughout the show. We'll obviously get into
Yeah.
normal figure, but whoa,
Mm,
like that's not
yeah.
maybe typical for a natural federation. So again, I do think that maybe condition was a bit of a focus here in a good way, in my opinion, though.
Yeah,
But
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like I said, Tracy in first, not taking anything away, absolutely
of
outstanding
course.
masters figure, and like you said, from the front, just it really just shows like how much condition and such a developed midsection, which always really really helps.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think it'd be really really cool to see both of these in Munich. I don't know if they're doing them, but again, I think it could go a different way again on a different day, and I think this photo doesn't do Victoria as much justice for the level of condition that she does have, because she does have
Right.
a very decent amount, and
Yeah.
very balanced, and yeah, they're both outstanding masters figures competitors. So very impressed, to be fair.
I just as a almost side note, I love that when that does happen, when someone wins a regional, sorry, when someone places second at a regional and then comes in and like does
Yeah,
win. Because I do
yeah,
just think
so
that's kind of
cool.
like you went away and you were like, I went to work, and I do really
Yeah,
like that.
I think
Although, like you say, it could have gone either way. I do think that's pretty cool.
no, but it's so cool, and it just shows how, like, a regional isn't the final picture. It's like different things can happen, and it was a different judging panel, like, and we always say it like, oh, different set of judges and it'll be a different result, but it genuinely is. Like, at the end of the day, different people have different preferences, and on that day she was the better athlete, and that in the eyes of those judges. So it's kind of, yeah, I mean, it's cool to see, and it just shows like it is a subjective sport, and that's
Mhm.
the way it is, and you shouldn't be almost disheartened by that.
No, definitely not. Really, really
Cool.
great lineup for sure. Right, on to the next, if I'm like capable. Yay! Whoa, okay. So is this the lineup that you're on about? The like kind of standout lineup, the teens?
Yeah, I think
Um,
honestly this is like one of the best team lineups I've ever seen. Like, the top five, insane, absolutely insane.
so who have we got here?
So first place was William Richardson, second Brandon Poole, third Leon, fourth Matthew, fifth Daniel. So we've obviously seen William at UKDFBA. We spoke about him, and do you remember I said that he did the BNBF qualifier, didn't place, and the feedback was you just need to come in leaner. And now he has, and he's won British Championships. Like, it's what we were just saying about like not placing at a qualifier, or people beating you at a qualifier. Well, he's turned it around and then won, which is so fucking cool.
Actually outstanding. And you know what, like that shape and structure, that reminds me a lot of like that kind of taper that he's got. Again, I'm only seeing this one shot here, but
Yeah.
he has a very bright future. Like that, how tall he
You know
is to
what?
fill that frame. Yeah.
He has so much muscle for a teenager. Like, I think it just shows, all of the other guys have, great condition, things like that. And they are arguably still in better condition. But with that amount of muscle at that age, like, you are going to be unstoppable if you keep going. Because,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's not just that he has a load of muscle in random places, it's all in the right areas. And, he's young, condition will come with time and maturity. But like, nobody can match that level of muscle that I've seen.
No, and I do actually want to do a little shout out to second place, because obviously we have seen him in a few other shows, right?
Yeah,
This is the best that I think
yeah,
we've ever seen him, and if anything,
yeah, for
like
sure.
this is an incredible package. Like I've seen him in previous lineups and kind of thought like, oh yeah, he looks like, you can tell he looks like quite young, like maybe this or that, and
Yeah,
but this peak right here, whatever they did for this show, like this is the one. You
mm,
know how sometimes like
yeah,
there might be little not trip ups, but might be little things that maybe they, I don't know, spilled or like didn't fill up enough, or like little things like that. But this peak right here
mm,
was absolutely on the money, because that is an
yeah,
incredible physique, and second place is truly deserved for that.
yeah. No, for sure. And you know what? I think it's really not in his favor how small his frame is, in the sense of
Mm.
like walking onto stage and standing out, because when you're next to somebody like Will, who is a head taller and has just a wider frame, it's really, really difficult to then be like, no, look at me. But I think Brandon in second, he really does that. And he,
You
even though
do.
his frame is small and he's shorter, he's got such an amazing shape, and the level of condition he brought was probably the
Yeah.
best on that lineup, which
Yes.
is really
Yeah.
cool to see.
Really good. And big up to the other lads as well, like third, fourth, fifth, like they all bought incredible packages. But for me, first and second, that's like they are absolute standouts
Stand
there.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay, so
Cool.
now we've got juniors. I'm gonna
So
zoom in a
yeah,
little.
this is what I
Yeah.
was on about earlier, where I think,
Mhm.
for me, if the teens and juniors were together, it would probably be a similar result. And that's not me taking anything away from these juniors, but I think it just
No, it's
shows
fact.
how much of a standout the teens were.
Yeah. Yeah, I do
Um,
think, like you just said, mixing the two together, I think all of these would have come after at least fourth, like at least fourth
yeah,
onwards.
yeah, and
But
don't get me wrong, put them on together and we may have a different opinion, but seeing them not on the stage next to each other, um
mhm.
I do think that the teens were more standout. But first place Nicola, second Jack, third Dominic, fourth Alessandro.
Amazing though. Like they
Still
definitely
great
got
news.
so good. I think if we hadn't have seen the teen category, we'd be like, yeah,
Yeah,
great, blah blah blah. But I think because of how standout those teens were, then yeah, like you say, I think
yeah,
what is kind of overall lacking here is just a little bit more condition everywhere, isn't it?
yeah. So just for kind of comparison, Dante was meant to be doing this class, but obviously Dante won his WNBF Pro card and actually used it to enter the DFAT Pro show. So, it's just, I'm not going to go and say anything
Yeah,
bad about these juniors, but if you did have Dante in that lineup, I think it would just show the difference, because, Dante is an exception. He is an outstanding junior, but it just kind of shows what they would be up against if Dante did do it. And they have great level of muscle, but like you said, I think conditioning probably is it needs to kind of be a bit more. And they do have great potential for the future, but yeah, that's yeah. Oh God, I feel
yeah.
really mean.
No, but this is what it's about. Okay, so on to novice. Big man Roo back in the blocks. So yeah, do you want to go from first to fifth?
Yeah. So first Rue, second Charlie Cuthbert, third Nicholas, fourth Chris Edwards, fifth James, sixth Simone. Now, honestly, Rue was standout, like night and day. It was kind of
Really?
Rue and then everyone else. To be honest, he is absolutely outstanding novice. So much muscle and in the right places.
Hmm. Yeah, you can see even here. I do think like he has got such a great waist as well, that it does make obviously everything else kind of like bubble out of it. Yeah. But I know we have spoken about Rue quite a few times, and we've spoken about Charlie as well, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
Yeah.
still absolutely amazing physique, and even kind of the guys in third, fourth, and fifth, like a
Yeah.
really, really solid novice lineup. And it would be really cool to kind of follow them in the future when they go into open. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think Rue would have been very competitive in open then anyway. But as with
Do
all
we
of
know?
them, really.
Yeah, yeah. Do we know what like lineup Rue would be in? Would it be like light, or I guess we don't really know. I guess they don't.
It's really difficult to guess people's weight.
Yeah.
Like maybe top end of light into middle potentially, but I have no
Yeah.
idea what you weigh. So
Yeah.
yeah, don't know.
This, I think exactly what you've just said there. Like, this is a novice lineup, so it's going to be absolutely incredible to like kind of follow their journeys into. Maybe not next season, depends. Obviously, maybe the season after, but regardless, they're all going to be incredible athletes. And you know what? Like, fifth is standing out to me. Like, look at that side, like absolutely
Yeah,
incredible. That
he's
kind
great.
of cut in
Mhm.
to your like hamstring and glute there, like a full-blown anatomy model.
Yeah,
Absolutely amazing. So big up that whole lineup.
literally.
You should be very, very proud.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we're back with the ladies.
Okay, so Hannah, guess how many was in Miss Athletic?
Well, I can see obviously 3 walking off as well. So that's like a minimum of 8. Shall I say 10?
13.
Oh, it's alive. Was it hard?
13 girls.
Was
The
it
hardest
almost
category.
really? Okay, that's cool.
100%.
Yeah. Well,
So
this
yeah,
is
I
the
mean,
first time. Sorry, go on.
no, you go.
I was going to say this is the first time I'm actually looking at the top 5 because I saw first place obviously and had a stalk, so I was like, okay, cool, this is what I'm aiming for in life. um, but seeing kind of top 5 here, I am obsessed with third place. Who is she? Oh my god, obsessed. Wow, love.
I think she was one of them that came over. I think first and third. Did they come? I want to say like Italy or something. But yeah. So 13 girl lineup, and we actually do have a few girls in this category that kind of wanted some feedback as well, and not all of them in
Ooh,
the top 6,
amazing.
but um,
Okay.
absolutely, honestly, like it's really difficult with this category, and I think the feedback is going to be really difficult in the sense that they were all so different, and it's not like it's not like figure in the sense that you kind of have like what you go for, because athletic, even though condition is favorable, it's like you still consider everything, presentation,
Mhm.
shape, thing, and it's not just leanest person wins, but that is favored. And I think it really shows in here that even though some of the girls that were in fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth were more conditioned, like people like the lady in third had such a beautiful shape, which I think probably pushed her higher. Now, I mean, anyway, I'll go through the first. First was, I want to say that's Ilara. Second, obviously Jess. Third,
Yeah,
Daniela Camboni. Fourth was
I'm
Ali.
gonna stalk her.
Fifth, Olivia Wallace. And then it was actually a joint sixth place between Ali Warner and Lucy Hooper.
Ali Warner. Why does that
I know.
Wait, why does that ring a bell?
We know Ali.
Do we know? Yeah. What Ali? Do I know Ali?
Yeah. Oh my god, why can't I put a face to
Yeah,
Ali right now? We definitely do.
I'm gonna Google. I'm gonna Instagram. Oh no. Yeah, that name is like
We've spoken about it before.
okay, right, makes
She was
sense. Okay, so shall I give my almost like completely subjective like feedback here from seeing this one
yeah,
shot, blah, 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 blah. So
yeah. Go for it.
again, fifth place. Wow, an
Mm-hmm.
unreal condition. Like you can see already from
And
that kind of set up stance here. Oh yeah.
fifth place actually wanted individual feedback, so we can talk about it a bit more.
Amazing, yeah. So again, like she's not exactly hitting the shot in this photo, so that's a little bit like that's a shame. But that lower half, like that to me, a good lower half shows like good work. That level of muscle and
Yeah.
condition that she's brought there, coming through like the inside of her quad, like really, really great. I can see that she's already got great amount of like delt coming. The anything that maybe I would say that the others pipped her over is she looks a little bit wider through the waist than the others. And again, like shape does matter. So you know, you can't really do anything about that other than pose, right? Like, other than shifting those hips back. But again, sometimes then you lose size through your legs if you shift the hips back. So it's about kind of playing to your strengths, playing the cards right. But like I mentioned,
Yeah.
obviously we'll speak about Ali as well, because we've mentioned Ali like multiple times through this podcast, and I think she brought another
Mhm.
amazing package. But if I'm looking at third, second, and first, I think maybe they picked her on condition.
Not in person.
No, okay, good. That's nice. That's good to know. But yeah, what about you for
Mm.
fifth and fourth, and then we can go into top three.
Yeah, for sure. So fifth, I completely agree with you. I think, it's unfortunate that she was in such a solid lineup because she has an amazing level of muscle and really, really, really good condition to match it as well. But like you, I do think, unfortunately, she's up against girls that have tiny waists, and it's
Mhm.
really, really hard then for your shape to kind of carry you through against people like that. And it may be that longer term it's like changing the posing a little bit, maybe building like a little bit more through lats to give you the illusion of a smaller waist. But like,
Yeah,
creds to her, I think this is the best she could have looked on that day. Like, absolutely lovely condition, lovely presentation. But
yeah,
it's just unfortunate she was in such a stacked kind of lineup. Obviously, like you said, we spoke about Ali a lot. For me, this is the best Ali has ever looked.
ever.
Absolutely, this shot doesn't really show anything, but
No,
shape
nothing.
was probably, probably one of the best in the lineup, in the sense that she had the beautiful, X frame. She is wide, she's got a lot of muscle, she's got
Mhm,
conditioning to match. And you know
mhm,
what? I'm just going to straight up say I had her higher in this lineup because I think she had everything. And yeah, I mean, it's again, it's a panel of judges, and on a given day, different people want different things. But this is
mhm.
definitely the best Ali we've ever seen, and she should be proud of that for sure.
Yeah, I love that, and I think from seeing like the lead up to it, and seeing like her photos that she's even posted, like I can completely agree there. Like, it's the best she has ever looked. So I'm so glad that you said that in the sense of seeing her actually up there as
Yeah.
well. Um, I am, if I'm now looking at just like only top three, um, again, this is just a single photo, but I prefer third. Like, I think like that kind of
Yeah, you
level
love
of
her.
shape. Like, I just think first looks condition, but I just feel like she doesn't have much lat and delt.
Mm. Sorry, I lost you then. You love
Oh,
third, don't you? Let's get her Instagram up.
yeah.
We have
But
got.
I just think, sorry, if you miss what I said, I'll just like repeat. I just think comparing her to first, like, yes, first probably does have a little bit more
Mm,
condition, but first seems to not have the same kind of level
yeah.
of like muscle in her top line. Like, even compared to like say Ali or even Olivia, like first doesn't seem to have as much top line. So I'm a little bit confused.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, do you know what? Actually, this photo is really bad. So first place on the day was actually kind of stand out, especially from the front. I think that bottom one shows it a little bit better, but she did
Yeah.
have kind of very mature muscle. She had a really lovely midsection, and like from the
Yeah.
front, she actually did really stand out for like athletic figure category.
Yeah.
And I think similar to the other kind of masters we've seen, in the sense that her front was better than her back, but I still think it was good enough to carry her through. And I do think she was actually stand out first in person. But I
Good.
completely agree with what you're saying about third place is shape. I think shape is absolutely beautiful. She wasn't as hard in person,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
she potentially could have even been figure with that
Mm.
shape. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think the condition potentially is what separated first and third. Do you want to talk about Jess in second?
Again, only from this singular photo, I feel she has been leaner.
Yeah, I thought similar actually.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that's because we're now comparing her to people that are leaner. You know, it's quite difficult to kind of, if she's in a
Or,
leaner lineup, she obviously looks probably not as lean, even though she may be
or
leaner herself. But I think this
yeah.
shows the difference between
Hmm.
conditioning.
The only thing that I would maybe say is, first season, it's been a long prep. Maybe her body has been like, okay, I'm stressed now. Like sometimes your body tells you before your
Yeah,
head. But yeah, I do think
yeah,
like Jess would have done very well in figure in this whole show. I think that she would have done really well in figure
yeah.
here, but
In the lineups we've seen,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
mean, a second place British finals,
So incredible,
absolutely amazing. You know,
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. But I think she could have been
and
extremely competitive if she'd brought in the condition that we'd seen previously.
yeah, no, for sure. And we did actually have two more girls in this category that felt like wanted feedback.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to have pictures of them, so I don't know whether you want to maybe get their Instagrams up at the end, or
Do you wanna just speak
how do you
through
want
them
to do
now,
it?
if that's all right?
Yes, let me grab their Instagrams at the same time so that I can
Okay.
actually remind myself.
Yeah, of course.
So, one of them was Olivia Wallace, actually, who was in fifth place. We've already spoken about Olivia.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely amazing for her. Um, then we have Lucy Hooper, which was in joint sixth place.
Mhm.
I just want to remind myself. I'm just grabbing the Instagram app. I don't know
It's
if you've got
fine.
your phone, but you can.
I don't have their, like, full names, so I feel like if I start looking um trying to find Instagrams, I'll just end up finding these random people.
I've just gone from the Bodybuilding Unplugged page, and because obviously they put it in the question box.
Oh,
So Lucy, yeah, Lucy, who was actually joint six on the day. Oh, do you know what? I actually love her physique so much. Um, do you remember her, Hannah? I'll show
no,
you on here now.
I'm getting her up now,
This
but
one,
yeah, you.
you're getting this one.
Oh
So
wait,
I think
LH.
I'll just talk while you get her up. So yeah, yeah. So I think it's really, again, on a different day, definitely could have cracked a top three in an athletic final. But, unfortunately, the lineup was completely stacked for this one. I absolutely love her presentation. I think, she came in really conditioned, has a lovely, level of muscle. But I think maybe the downfall is that she is slightly taller. So it is going to
Oh,
take slightly more muscle to be able to kind of
yeah, I was just about to say
just frozen
exactly that.
again. A little bit more, yeah. Uh, She's she's tall, so a little bit more muscle in kind of like lats and quads to give him more of a like an X shape as opposed to kind of you know comparing her against these girls. But like
Yeah.
that's just time, and that's easy enough to do. But presentation was like absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I completely see where you're coming from. And you know what? I've just gone into her like previous post. She did one about BNBF Northern, and what we did say about Jess, like
Mm.
she's standing next to Jess in that. I don't know if you can. Oh God, don't know if you can. Do I imagine you like tap the
Yeah.
fucking camera? And Jess does look like a lot leaner even in that shot as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a big fan of Lucy's physique, but like you said, she's just very tall, and you just kind of you do have to make sure that you're like filling, especially through that top line. Like I think your top line can get lost sometimes when you're so tall.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. And then the other one was Cassandra Batty, who wasn't in the top six on this occasion. I'm obviously not sure what she placed because they only place the top six on the day.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I actually think it's really difficult because I genuinely thought she was really, really good. And I potentially could have had her in the top six. She has great conditioning, lovely level of muscle, but potentially similar to Lucy in the sense that it may have been like a shape thing on the day and a little bit more kind of like lat just to kind of help the X frame. But even going through her Instagram, like she looks great.
Yeah, I'm watching her posing routine right now, and like that, she's like shining. She's like smiling, the presentation, transitions, shots, like everything about that presentation is
Yeah.
so beautiful. And it is athletic, like for sure. She's definitely not in the
Yes,
wrong
100%.
category. Yeah, she's not like, aiming for the wrong federation even. Like it's just going to be like keep going, isn't it? Like keep pushing, brewing
Yeah, for
better
sure.
like every time, but it's the perfect presentation that she could have bought for that day.
Yeah, and I agree. And you know what? I do think as well, like potentially a better fitting bikini on the back. I think it's probably underspoken about in bodybuilding and things like that. But sometimes a different style bikini can really really help. And it is actually feedback that
Yeah.
I got from a judge was just changing the way my bikini fits my front to help certain areas. And I think potentially for her a slightly different bikini style potentially would have actually kind of helped. I'm not saying it would have, put her from where she
No.
was into a different place, but I definitely think it helps to stand out, especially when you
Yeah.
come onto the stage, because at the end of the day, in a lineup of 13 girls, like first impressions are everything.
Yes. Yeah. It's really strange that you mentioned that because I did like a photo of like post diet, post workout photos in my old stage suit from 2021. And in that
Yeah.
2021 stage suit, I've got a triangle cut cup instead of a molded cup. And it's like a lot
Mm.
smaller, like it comes in a lot better. And I sent that photo to Miss Bikini Fitness and I
Yeah.
was like, this, like, as much as I loved my bikinis last year, this suits me better. Like, I
Yeah.
definitely should
Yeah.
like have the smaller. It just allowed my shape to actually show. And she was like, completely agree. So, like,
Yeah.
it is kind of
Yeah.
important. I
Sure.
do agree. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We've probably spoken enough about
Cool.
them, and we're probably going to speak a lot more about this next category too. So, let's move on to figure, shall we? Or did we have anyone else that needed feedback?
No, 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 no. I'm just nodding my head because I'm like, what the actual fuck?
So I actually
I'm
sent.
so glad I did not compete this year.
I was just about to say I sent this the top four. I sent it to Cuba, and I literally went. I think we found the Fed that like I want to be in, like because to me, I'm not looking at that lineup thinking like, oh my god, I'm better. Oh my god, da da da. But I'm looking at those physiques, and I want to be those physiques, right? Like I
Yeah,
feel like
like
when you're aiming for a Fed, that's what you should be focusing on. Are you looking at those physiques thinking, I want to achieve that? That's, yeah.
it's honestly like I actually have goosebumps. Like I'm sorry, but like every single girl on that stage is like absolutely amazing. But I just want to freaking go out there and say it. Monique is next level. She's superhuman.
Wow.
Like what is
Absolutely.
that's made in a lab. That physique is made in a lab. Like, oh, and
Beautiful.
she's such a lovely person as well. But like, very very well deserved. And we've seen Monique on BNBF stages before, but
Yeah.
this is just a different Monique. Like, she's never looked like that before. And wow.
Well, so that's interesting you do say that. Do you know if is she been with Dan the whole time?
No, so I think she either didn't have a coach or did, but it wasn't maybe like a bodybuilding coach, or I'm not really sure of the thing, but she
Ah.
wasn't with Dan the whole time. And I don't
Mm.
believe she was the last time she competed. And now she's obviously with Dan. And, creds to Dan, he never fails to bring someone into like their absolute best. But I think
Yeah.
she had everything, like condition,
Yeah.
muscle, fullness, shape, presentation,
Right.
like any single box ticked.
Smashed. Yeah, outstanding. Because to be honest, take Monique away and the lineup, regardless, is incredible
Yeah.
and actually so difficult. Like Monique, again, I'm not saying like take her away out of like anything other than she is most definitely first place. I think it's just absolutely
Yeah.
clear from every perspective, like you've just said. But then, yeah, if you
Yeah.
look at second, third, fourth, like wow, what
I know. Yeah.
amazing.
It's just amazing. And you know what? Like, I think this just shows like we know how good Paige is. And for Paige to get third in this lineup shows how good the lineup was,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, second place is so beautifully like aesthetic. She has almost like a more
Louise,
like
she's
flowy
called.
physique. Yeah. Yeah, she's like apps. It's like so aesthetically pleasing, similar to Vita, like very obviously
Yeah,
like slight, but like more just like I don't
yeah.
want to say feminine because they're all feminine, but it's
No, I
different. Do you know
hear
what I
you.
mean?
It's different. It is just like it's genetic there. Like it is that you look at them
Yeah,
and you just like figure like she can't go anywhere else. Like you're there. You
no,
know?
she's bigger. Yeah, she is bigger. And yeah, very very well deserved second place. I didn't actually see this on the day because I was going and glazing Ethan, but it's the only category that I actually missed. And I was really sad about. But yeah,
Ethan.
I know.
I
I
do
know,
actually
bloody Ethan.
I do actually want to point out as well, like, so that the ladies, if they are listening, Paige and Monique, both of them, people did actually put their name in the box for athletes that stood out. So that must be extremely like, not that we need any validation when we step on stage, but at the end of the day, if you're people that stand out in a whole show, like that's pretty cool. And yeah, Louise, she's
Yeah,
been around the block. She's I know Louise like as in through Instagram a lot, and I do think that is again a beautiful presentation and probably one of the best I've seen from her. I don't know if you agree, but absolute full package.
yeah.
Like I think seeing Monique probably backstage was like a fuck moment, when you're like, oh, if you
I think
weren't here,
everyone. And obviously, she didn't do a qualifier because she's already won BNBF before, so she
yeah,
didn't need to do a qualifier. So nobody knew
yeah.
she was coming.
That's it. Because I was going to say I
Oh,
don't remember seeing her this season, and
yeah,
then
no, she hasn't yet.
Paige, I think, and Paige won't mind me saying this, as being like one of our sponsored athletes, like she knows that I'll always tell her like honest feedback anyway. Like her top line's beautiful, like her waist is something that she's got a wider waist than other figure girls. Like again, just like
Mm,
genetically, but she's built her top line to make that not be an issue anyway. But it is just down to
yeah,
conditioning, I believe, in her lower half. And she bought an incredibly improved package from her regionals, like completely again like even more condition, and especially with it being her first season within
yeah,
natural federations, like she really is improving like year to year, show to show. But when you do look at first and second, like their
yeah.
conditioning through the lower is just different.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just time. Like it'll come, it'll come and it'll come easier than, obviously Hannah,
Yeah,
you're an exception that just gets completely peeled in their first time competing. But for most athletes, condition is something that does take time and you run out of runway sometimes. Like we've seen it with Meg, like, you could be doing everything, but
yes,
sometimes, you can't get that condition that year and it's just time.
mate. Yeah, I mean, I was about to go into like hashtag trauma and be like, yeah, that was depression that led me to that condition. So, so it's fine. But yeah, like you said, like
Oh,
There is so there's so many people though that like you say, like so many the athletes that they could be doing like eating 500 calories, doing hours of cardio, and it's just they're just pushing against like sludge. It's just like not
Yeah.
happening. So, it is one of those things. But no, absolutely outstanding lineup. Right, let's go into classic because this was a big boy class, right? What we saying?
Yeah.
Because
I
these
again I
photos
this
are atrocious. Oh no, did you miss this one?
I actually didn't see this one either. I
No.
it was those two. I was perfecting Ethan's glaze, so
You
I
know,
missed them. But I mean, this photo is so bad.
yeah.
AJ, what are you doing?
We need to fire him.
They're not even in the pose. So right, let me just find them on
well,
my list.
well, I was gonna say, like, to be fair, I think I did see so much content over the weekend from this lineup, and I'll be honest, man, like any single one of that top five, I think could have took it. Like, I obviously know Mark on like a kind of another
Yeah,
level, like more of I'd say like
yeah,
friend
for
level,
sure.
and I think he did have like great shape, great
Yeah,
condition, great like muscle, like. But I'm even looking here at fourth place and like his level of condition, size, shape. Like, look at that shot, you know?
yeah. Honestly, like I think, like you said, for this category, like absolutely amazing classic lineup. They all on a different day could have come in a complete different place. Obviously, we both know Mark, and it's probably the best he's ever looked, which is amazing to
Yes.
see. But I guess I'm glad I wasn't judging this category. I'll just probably leave it at that.
Yeah, I can imagine when you just kind of think like, oh my God, no. It just must have been so difficult. But again, it shows the standard of natural bodybuilding and kind of where we are going at the minute. It's pretty incredible to see. So, oh, shock, surprise. We've got the lightweights. Lightweight Billy.
Lightweight, baby. I've got to stop doing
Okay.
that. I do it every time.
Yeah, but it
So
can't help.
obviously, first place Dan, second Ethan, third Alex, fourth Ismail, fifth Julian, and do you know what? It's very similar, like deja vu to the UKFBA show where the lineup is just stacked. Like honestly, I feel sorry that Ethan is always in the freaking worst lineup of the day because like the best, the worst best, the most competitive, I would say. Like
Well,
for
I was gonna
me,
say,
these were
is
definitely
that
stand out.
is that a bad thing to be in the best lineup of the day? Like, isn't that what we aim
Yeah,
for? You know? Yeah,
exactly.
like
Yeah, for sure. And it's just look at like this photo says it all. Like five incredible physiques, the top five, and just wow.
I'm even fifth place right here looks absolutely outstanding. Like, did you say Julian?
Yeah,
Would you say that it's almost
insane.
because he was so peeled that the others maybe just looked a little bit bigger, or what would you say? I mean, yeah, I know you weren't judging it because you like
Yeah,
weren't, but
obviously Ethan. Yeah, like
yeah,
honestly, I don't fully remember, but I think, looking at the top again, it's another thing. We've talked about Dan and Ethan in the last show because,
yeah,
they were top.
yeah,
They were obviously we compared them at the UK FBA, but
mhm,
Dan and Ethan are very different. Obviously, I'm not going to kind of speak about Dan like loads because we spoke about him before, but very dense, very compact muscle. Obviously, I think Ethan in second and third place is Alex was very like nice aesthetic shapes, and
yeah,
that potentially pushed them over fourth place. I think they're even just from their lat spread, you can see here like their shapes just really carry them through.
yeah,
And I mean fourth and fifth just absolutely amazing as well.
yeah. I actually don't even think I can say any more on that because I'm just like, yeah, cool. All of you, fantastic.
Yeah, outstanding category.
Okay, let's go middleweights. Oh, this is going to be interesting because there's a few people I don't believe that we've spoken about before. So Jay is fourth, I know that, and then James second. Who else do we have here?
So I've got on the list first Anthony Campbell Jr., second James Alabaster, third
Hmm.
Alfredo, fourth Daniel, fifth Jonald, sixth Craig.
Oh, oh, okay. I've gone the wrong way. First, second, third. Oh, hmm. Daniel.
Unless they've done it wrong. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they've
what it
done
says
that
here. First,
wrong.
second, third.
Yeah, because fourth is
Oh,
the left,
okay, they've done that
right?
wrong.
Oh, they might won't change
Yeah.
that. Unless they've like put them the wrong sides, because that's Keith's client on the left, Jay. He did PCA Naturals in
Oh,
June.
maybe they put. Oh wow, wow, and
Yeah.
maybe they put them the wrong way on the stage.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine he like won in June and it's now October,
That's crazy,
isn't it? I don't know
absolutely
if
crazy. But go on.
I was gonna say I don't know if he like pulled out, like not pulled out, like pulled back to then go back in because I don't think he's competed before PCA. Like PCA Naturals was his first show, and then I think he did like a regionals for this, and then like obviously the finals. So I don't know if maybe I don't know, but regardless, very very good luck. But that is a very long time for a natural athlete, and I know that Keith has actually just
Yeah,
took over
it's a long
James's
time.
prep as well, didn't he?
Oh really?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, no, very long time to be on prep. But yeah, I mean, another really good category. Anthony in first place actually did classic at the qualifier, but got invited as open as well as classic, and he's chosen to do open, which you know what, like I actually think this is the best, definitely the best he's looked this season so far. And seeing him on the overall lineup, actually, I think he definitely pushed Theo. I think it could have gone either way between them on the overall lineup. Obviously, we'll speak
Oh,
about Theo in a second, but he looks,
I
yeah,
bet
really,
that's
really
gonna be
good.
so cool for him to hear you say that because, like, everyone, I'm not gonna say like
Yeah,
Theo is God, but like everyone looks towards Theo. Like, it's even as
yeah,
like a female athlete, you'll look towards Theo as like someone that you kind of respect within this industry. Um, so to
yeah, for
hear you
sure.
say that definitely will probably make his fucking day, mate. But yeah, James, this is the
Yeah,
best James has looked this season, for sure. I
yeah,
think because he had a bit of a like not rocky start, but I know that he just didn't come in lean enough for like his. I say I know, in my opinion, he didn't come in lean enough for like those shows
yeah,
prior. It's probably been a bit more difficult to like catch up, you know, to then bring the
yeah,
condition for finals. And that's probably, if anything, where he
yeah.
gets picked here. Like the condition difference is quite significant. It's good that they're in the same pose.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. And we've spoken about James. He's a phenomenal level of muscle, but he just needs to kind of just still a little bit more condition. But now he's working with Keith, like it'll come, and he's got such a bright future. But yeah, on the
Yeah,
day, like Anthony, it's such a tiny waist and in such an
that's it.
aesthetically pleasing, and he had amazing condition, and yeah, very very well deserved.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, and we'll go into the big boys, heavies. Jesus Christ. I
I
actually
know,
want to know. I
mad.
reckon. Is it weird if I want to know their weights? I feel like that's weird, but I do. I want to know.
I think they're like maybe like over 80 kilos or something like that. I don't know where the cutoff was. It changes every shows, but like there'd be like at least 80, I would imagine.
Imagine being a natty, peeled to the bone, over 80 on stage.
I
Like
know,
some
absolutely crazy.
assisted. I think George Osborne got on stage and he was like 70 kilo this year. That's an assisted.
Oh wow, yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely. But yeah, I mean, obviously Theo taking the win, and he's come in so much since the qualifier, and just the best Theo to date. And it's really hard to kind of just like review his physique, because I think if you know Theo, like he is genuinely like the nicest person ever. Like he's just so down to earth, such a lovely person, and it's just so his like happiness and stage present is so like radiating, and
Yeah.
I just love
Yes.
watching him up there. And it was just, I know how much it meant to him, and just
Yeah.
very, very well deserved. But like
And like you
second
said,
place,
just
also absolutely insane.
yeah. Yeah. Like I think again, like they actually had a little bit of a battle in the sense like he definitely bought it. Second place definitely bought it. But yeah, Theo just is it's the same as Monique almost in this, where it's like you can take Theo out
Yeah,
because he was just the like obvious choice for first place. So yeah,
yeah, for
I'm
sure.
really happy to see this kind of presentation as well, because like we mentioned in the kind of regionals where we were like, we know that he can be bringing like even more conditions. So, and he did exactly that. I mean, not because of us, but because of that was the plan. And it's yeah, incredible to see. So taking him away from the equation, second, third, fourth, fifth. Do we have names?
We do. Sorry, I'm just actually in the process trying to find the women's bodybuilding picture, because I've just realised we don't have it.
Oh
So I'm gonna just see
no.
just for after. But for the heavyweights, yeah, first Theo, second Darren, third Will Davis, fourth Stephen Reed, and fifth Thomas Wilkie. But yeah, I mean, five like outstanding physiques, and it's just like what a heavyweight lineup it was. Like absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I've
Are you
just
looking as
gone on.
well?
Yeah, I was trying to, but I went on to Becky's.
No, we don't have it
No.
quite. Yeah.
Do you know anyone else that was in that lineup? Have you got their names?
Of the bodybuilders, women's.
Yeah, like maybe.
Yeah. Are we done with these now? Yeah, I think just
Yeah,
obviously the pros, and best wheels and things. But I mean, do you want to finish with the photos we have? Then we can just talk about bodybuilding briefly.
yeah, sure. I
I think we're
mean,
pretty much there
so
now, aren't we?
obviously we have spoken about these athletes previously. Like Monique took the overall, Theo overall, and yeah, and new
Yeah.
pro, which again, such a long time coming, like just incredible.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
that was feedback that we'd got from it that I just flicked onto and flicked back. So yeah, that was that.
No,
So then
amazing. Cool.
speaking about
Absolutely. Okay,
bodybuilding.
so women's bodybuilding. Yeah, I'm just gonna see actually if because I've seen a lot of people post. I might actually have a photo of the women's
Oh,
bodybuilding.
Meg.
Because I think I might have, yeah, and I think I might have actually taken one myself. But I do have some from Meg actually.
I was gonna say like Meg Ralph, I believe she put up a post of them like oh no, it was all like backstage. Damn it. I even took a screenshot as well. Uh
I'm just seeing if I've got the winner's photo for
I
them.
mean if you wanna just speak like say off the cuff, like I
I've
believe
got
we
it.
definitely can. You got it. Can you send it to me?
Yeah, I mean, don't shout at me because they're not all in their pose, but we can see the top the top places. Right, I've just sent it to you. So, just for the actual results. So, first was Rebecca Starr, second Serena Ganella, third Ali, fourth Meg Codling, fifth Jess Swaby, and sixth Leslie Kerr. But yeah, I'm
Wow.
just gonna kind of just start with, obviously we've spoken about Becky Staff already in the qualifiers and the UKNFBA show, but for me, similar to what we've said, like you can just take her out of it because I think she was
What?
just absolutely Is this the
Her
lineup
back.
pictures that I sent you?
Yeah, Becky's
Yeah, you know,
back.
absolutely. Yeah, standout women's bodybuilder, you know, very, very, very hard for someone to compete against her. And, you know, she
Yeah.
has everything: muscle, condition, presentation. So very clear winner and very well deserved winner for me. So Serena in second. I don't believe we've seen her before on our stage in BNBF, and I think she came from
Ooh,
abroad. If you look on the pictures that I've sent you, Hannah,
got it.
um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
Got
the
her.
one on the far right but one.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, for her, she just had the most beautiful shape. Like, she has like a perfect X frame, but like to the point where she fits women's bodybuilding so nicely. And I know with
Yes.
like time and years to come, she will be like similar to myself in the sense that I can tell she just loves bodybuilding, but it's almost just needs more time to get the kind of maturity that Becky has. But you
Yeah.
know, Serena had an outstanding level of muscle, especially glutes. Like, she has
I
solid glutes.
I just literally got up the photo and I zoomed in on her glutes and I was like, yeah, like she, like you just said,
Yeah,
that her whole structure
yeah,
for it is definitely in full bodybuilding. I
yeah,
would just say
absolutely. Kind of like,
level of
mm-hmm.
conditioning to then match kind of Becky, because obviously her conditioning is there, like you can see it in
Yeah,
that side ham shot. Like I absolutely adore that side ham shot. That is
yeah,
beautiful. But I just
yeah,
think that the kind of
yeah.
maturity that Becky's got allows her to bring in even more. Becky's tan as well is on. It is nice.
Becky's tan is perfect. Literally absolutely
Perfect.
insane. But yeah, I mean, then in third place, obviously we had Ali, and I think, you know what, in this category, I love watching Ali in bodybuilding. I've said it before,
Yeah,
and I think, you know, she just really, really, really stood out in women's bodybuilding, and a very well deserved, you know, top three finish for her.
yeah.
And yeah, I think, you know, just, I've already said it. We spoke about her in athletic, but definitely the best Ali to date for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
amazing.
what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was
What a
just gonna say,
lineup, though. Can we just
yeah, I'm mind blown. I'm because I watched the live stream, but it was like
say?
not
Yeah,
shit quality. It was just like no way could I see the quality to this degree. And I am,
yeah.
rah, it's absolutely incredible. How many were there in this lineup? This is the biggest women's bodybuilding lineup
Um,
I've ever seen.
8.
Wow. So then who was third? Oh,
Yeah.
Ali. And then fourth was Meg. And
So
we,
Ali was third versus
yeah,
Meg. Yeah.
yeah, and as we've spoken about Megan, like Meg's structure is pure body. Like she could not do anything else. Like she's very similar to
She is
Becky in the
bodybuilder.
sense that yeah, she's a bodybuilder. So it's amazing to see, and you know it is only her second season, and it's her first season with a
Exactly.
new coach as well. So I think it is just a
Hmm.
time thing. She's definitely made for this shit and she
Yeah.
loves it as well, which is so evident. So
Yeah,
her stage presentation, her
for sure.
presence, oh, untouchable.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, Meg won't mind me saying this, and we all know, like, you know, it is just a condition thing, but for
Conditioning.
Meg, that is time. It's not something
Yes.
that, you know, would be achievable this season. Like, she's done every single thing possible. But, you know, on that stage, her shape and level of muscle is definitely up there, with, you know, first place. But you know, with time, maturity, and muscle, Meg will be, you know, an outstanding kind of, you know, women's bodybuilder. But even now, she still is. But it's just
Yeah.
time, and you know, that is, you know, time is the biggest compliment, I think, because it's easy to
Yeah,
control. You know, and then yeah, I mean, just in general, we spoke about other people before, but what an amazing
definitely.
women's bodybuilding lineup. And it was the, you know, watching them on stage was like, women's bodybuilding is alive. Like, you know, 3 or 4 years ago, there was no one in a women's bodybuilding final lineup, one, two people max. And to see 8 incredible girls, like, it was just so special.
Yeah. I'm in awe of this back double shot. I've gone back to this shot like about 7 times. This to me shows like you can see the true, without this sounding harsh, like, you know, because I love the fact that people are entering bodybuilding. You can see the people that it's like, okay, you are, yeah, bodybuilder, like the future there for you is definitely bodybuilding, especially like, oh, that side shot as well, oh my god, yeah, beautiful, the side tries, I'm obsessed, I'm here for it. But yeah, that is it. That is everyone. That is the whole
What a
show.
show! What an amazing
A
show!
show.
Yeah.
How's it made you feel?
Yeah, just oh god, I don't know. Like when I watch it, like I have like almost like split personalities. Like part of me, like my initial thought is like I don't want to compete like for a few years. Like I need like so much time. But then like Ethan kind of reminded me, and then I kind of reminded myself that like it's so exciting the fact that I'll get to compete against such amazing athletes. And I think as I'm like maturing in the sport, and you know I've been doing it for longer, and it's starting to kind of like I'm kind of getting a bit older in it. It's like I'm no longer kind of like scared of where I might place. In the sense, I'm like how exciting is it that I get to compete against the best women's figure athletes like there are in the world? Like that is so exciting. So I think like part of me is natural that I'm like, wow, that's nerve wracking. But then I'm like,
Yeah.
how exciting that I could share a pro stage with Monique. Like that's so
Yes.
exciting to me. But
Yeah.
I know it also excites you because I know that, you know, I think you've kind of seen where you'll fit next time.
Yeah, and even though I'd already kind of had my next season like mapped out, of like what shows, what months I was going to be competing, after sending those over to Cuba, he's literally said, "Yeah, you're doing this show." Like he was like,
Yeah,
regardless
for
of the
sure, for
fact that
sure.
this is later in the season, he was like, this is the federation you need to go to, and he's actually taken off another federation. I won't mention it on here. He's actually taken that off because he just doesn't think that they want to see me, and I was like, I agree. Like, why
I
keep
can
trying
probably
when they
guess.
just
I can probably
yeah, you definitely go.
yeah, and that's it. I know what you mean, but it is finding your federation. Like you know,
Yeah,
I think a lot of people maybe are not suited to certain ones, and that's okay. You know, that's why there's choices, and yeah, for sure,
yeah.
I think you will definitely be rewarded in BNBF. But yeah, it's so exciting, and
When it
we're
gets
not
to
going to
the
kind of go through it in a critical and not like as like a like kind of going through their physiques, but just a special mention to the pro show men because
yes.
all of them absolutely outstanding. Like how like genuinely so cool to see them all up there and I know we spoke about it at the start, but just so cool to see the level of like natural bodybuilding.
Outrageously good. But thank you so much, guys, for listening. We're going to end it here.
Cool.
Um, and yeah, absolutely brilliant. Thank you for anyone that did enter like their requests for reviews, for their shout outs to physiques, etc. Really do appreciate it. And thank you to every single person that does share it on your story. Like that again means so much. We had a little look at like the analytics before we started today, and it just made us really, really proud and really happy that, you know, people are actually enjoying us just speaking about things that we do love. A special little mention to Z because of her literally driving up and down the country, going to all of these shows, always putting in like the extra work, getting all the photos and things like that. And of course, a special mention to Per4m for the little hoodies and sports bras and supplying the goods so we can use Per4m code Zena or Insight Sups code Hannah10 for all your nutritional needs.
And thank you to you as well, Hannah. Like, you know, you are the backbone of this podcast. And I think if it wasn't for you kicking my ass into gear, you know, they definitely wouldn't happen. And obviously, you know, team posing with Hannah as well. So we appreciate you very much. But yeah, What an exciting episode. And, you know, we have definitely an exciting few weeks planned with the next shows that are on the cards. Hannah, I need to tell you this. Guess how many figure athletes are at UKDFBA?
Oh my God. 20?
15. 50.
Oh my God.
I know. So excited. I'm
That is
genuinely
going to be
so
an
excited.
incredible one. Yeah,
You
it's
know,
going to
I'm
be
so,
so good.
I
I
know,
actually
so.
I bought my
Yeah, and
ticket
obviously we've
today.
got WNBF as well.
Good.
Did you?
Nice. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. We'll leave it here though. Amazing to see you as always. And
Yeah.
please like, share, comment, guys. Again, that really does mean the most. But we'll see you next week.